from Tricot Wakefield. I'm here with Kathryn Drysdale of Riverside Studios. Hi, Kathryn.
Hi.
We are here with Kathryn. She's an artist, a fiber artist here in Wakefield, Quebec, and we're joining her in her studio at paf, Place des Artistes, Farleton, in Farleton, QC. What do we have here?
Well, what we have here is some hand-dyed yarn and some shawls made with hand-dyed yarn. I have a few different kinds here. I have some really beautiful merino superwash, kind of a worsted weight, singles spun yarn, which is a beautiful yarn for cowls and hats and mitts and such things in a couple of different colorways. And I also have a merino cashmere nylon sport weight here as well. It's a skein of undyed sock yarn. So this is where it all begins.
How does this turn into this?
Well, it all starts with me receiving the yarn on cones, on big cones. Then I skein it, which means I put it into kind of a loop like this, a skein of yarn. Once it's in this form, it's ready to begin the dyeing process. I get my yarn from a couple of different mills, but they're Canadian mills, so they're Canadian manufactured, which is really nice. They have really high quality, beautiful, soft yarns that are really, really nice to work with in all different weights, which is something that is great for knitters. It's what knitters want. So from here, once I've skeined the yarn, and then it's inspiration time.
Yeah.
And for me, inspiration can come from anywhere. Like literally, it can be just looking out the window and admiring the colors in nature that I see, or it could be something even more abstract. I just kind of think, oh, those colors would look nice together, you know. So then it goes from there. I take it into the studio and I go through the process of soaking the yarn, mixing my dyes, and then actually dyeing the fibers. And yeah,
So beautiful.
Here, I'll open one so you can actually see. This is kind of a nice thing to see, as you can see the various colors on it. That's what we call a multicolored yarn. Yeah, there's some yarns are more solid colorways, which are good for certain things, and the multicolored yarns are nice. Yeah, you can see, like here in this shawl, this is knit with the background color is a semi-solid, so it's one color, that's got various tones, and then the dots and the edging are they're a multicolored yarn.
It adds this beautiful texture.
Yeah, it's really nice. We'll knit it up differently depending on what stitch you're doing, and so here you can see the dots come out. Each one comes out in a different color. It's really nice, and then they kind of get mixed together, which is also incredibly nice. Yeah, so yeah, that's some of the different kinds of dyeing that I do.
Well, just a quick question about the wool that comes to you from this mill in Canada. Where in Canada?
There's one in Toronto that I work with, and there's another company I get yarn from that's in Montreal.
Okay.
So fairly close to home, as close to home as possible. So, but their particular process is for making a superwash yarn, which is what I work with mostly, is superwash yarn. That is a wool that's had all the scales taken off of it. So the scales are like these little fibers that are like umbrellas, and they hook onto each other, and that's what makes yarn felt.
Yeah.
So when you make a superwash yarn, you strip those scales off. Yeah. So it can't felt. It can be washed without actually turning into a tight little ball. But also the advantages of that are it doesn't itch. Like you can wear a garment like made out of this right next to your skin, or baby skin, and it's not at all itchy. And the other thing is that it accepts the dye really beautifully. Yes, it's not as muted as like a more natural fiber.
Okay.
The dyes I get from a company in the States, in Massachusetts, and they're weak acid dyes, which is a dye that's particular to protein fibers.
Okay.
So wool is a protein fiber as opposed to, let's say, cotton, which is a cellulose fiber.
Which comes from plants, right?
It comes from plants, and it takes a different class of dye altogether. So the dyes I use are, they're made for protein fibers, and they're very high quality. I buy the highest quality I can, so they're really, really nice colors. The dye comes in a powdered form, and I have to mix it into a solution, a very strong solution, and then from there it gets mixed further to make more colors out of the whatever, maybe 10 or 11 colors that I order, and then I mix every other color from that and then dilute it as well, because it's too strong in its concentrated form.
So do you mix your own colors, like
Oh, yes.
to come up with different?
I have basically recipes for all these. I've written recipes. So then once I tried that, it just grew from there. Then I started sourcing things, and Ravelry was an incredible help for the knitter. Any knitter out there who wants to learn anything about knitting, dyeing, spinning, weaving, just go on Ravelry and check it out.
Plethora of information.
Yeah, everything you need to know is there. So that's where it started, and it's been fun. So
well, let's get on to a little demonstration.
Okay. So in this stage here, the yarn is being soaked in a solution of water with citric acid and a little bit of soap, which helps open the fibers. The citric acid is necessary to acidify the yarn so that the dye will be accepted. It's a chemical reaction. So two things you need for the dye to attach to the fibers: citric acid and hot. So now this yarn is soaked for about half an hour, so I'm just going to put it in the pans. So just squeeze it out. And I dye in small batches, so I usually do anywhere from 2 to 3, sometimes 4 skeins, kind of just depending on the size of the skein. Really hot, but not boiling. So
I have no idea what temperature that is.
I don't either. There is a temperature, but
sure.
I just do it by feel
by look.
And by how much it's steaming. Pour it on. So I've mixed 5 colors, and I'm going to pour them on a sequence all the way down. So I kind of eyeball, how big the section is for each one. So you can kind of see why it's like a watercolor. You pour the brown and it's like traveling up the sides an hour, but it can take longer depending on the color. Some colors take a really long time to get soaked up. I put the yarn in there, and then you turn it on, and it spins round, and the water comes out. Cool. So it's awesome. Dries it. It cuts drying time down hugely.
And then you hang it.
And then I just hang it on. And that's it until I package it. Put a label on a sticker, and it's ready for sale.
Well, thank you so much, Kathryn.
You're welcome.
For having us here today, and this beautiful studio. It's something that's just amazing in our community, the Farleton Place des Artistes. We're having an open house.
Yes.
Second weekend of June.
Yeah, for 4 days.
Yeah.
It's a Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today. Happy knitting.